There are 7 levels of hell in Islam. And depending on what you believe, who you follow, and how you lived, the Quran says you will end up in one of them. Some are for those who denied God completely. One is reserved for hypocrites, people who called themselves believers but never truly were. Another is reserved for those who had every opportunity to do good with their wealth and chose to hoard it instead. Stay until the end, because the last level on this list is the one most people never expect. Let's go through all 7, from the least severe to the worst punishment ever described in the Quran. According to the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Jahannam, hell, isn't just one place. It has 7 distinct levels, stacked one below the other, called by 7 different names, each holding a different group of people and each with a different intensity of punishment. The deeper you go, the more severe the punishment becomes, and the further that level is from any hope of mercy. This isn't speculation. Every level mentioned here comes from the Quran or authentic hadith, passed down through generations of Islamic scholarship. Let's start from the top and work our way down into the depths. The first and least severe level is called Jahannam itself, the general name that gives the whole place its title. This level is reserved specifically for sinful believers, Muslims who disobeyed Allah during their lives, who committed major sins, who fell short again and again, but who never abandoned their faith entirely. They believed in one God until the very end, even while failing to live up to that belief. According to many scholars, this is the only level of the 7 from which people can eventually be removed. After their sins have been purified through punishment, however long that may take, they are lifted out, cleansed, and finally allowed to enter paradise. It's the only level in Jahannam that isn't permanent. Below Jahannam is Laza, a blazing, flaming fire. The Quran describes it directly in Surah Al-Ma'arij as a fire that eagerly strips away the skin of anyone who enters it, calling out by name those who turned their backs on the truth when it was presented to them, and who hoarded their wealth instead of giving in charity to those who needed it. This level is often associated with those who rejected the message of the Prophet, but who weren't necessarily the most extreme or violent in their disbelief. It's a very specific warning aimed at greed, at withholding what should have been given, at watching others suffer while sitting on more than enough. The third level is Al-Hutamah, the crusher. Its name literally means something that shatters and crushes everything that falls into it. The Quran describes this fire as one that doesn't simply burn. It rises up and reaches over the hearts of those trapped inside, closing in on them from every direction. This level is often linked in the commentary of scholars to those who mocked others, who slandered people behind their backs, who used gossip and backbiting as their weapons of choice. It's a reminder that the harm caused by words, even words said quietly, even words said as a joke, carries real and lasting weight in the next life. The fourth level is Al-Sa'ir, the blazing fire. This name is mentioned multiple times throughout the Quran, most notably as the destination for those who consumed the wealth of orphans unjustly, people who were entrusted to protect and provide for children who had lost their parents and instead used that position to steal from them. More broadly, this level is also described as the fate of those who lived in outright disbelief, who had every opportunity in their lives to seek out the truth, to ask questions, to investigate, and who simply refused, choosing comfort over honesty. The fifth level is Saqar, a name that appears in Surah Al-Mudathir, described as a fire that spares nothing and leaves absolutely nothing unburned, constantly scorching and blackening the skin of everyone inside it, over and over again without pause. This level is tied specifically to 3 failures mentioned side by side in the Quran: refusing to pray, refusing to feed the poor even when able to, and spending time mocking and ridiculing those who did believe and did worship sincerely. The sixth level is Al-Jahim, the fierce, raging fire. The Quran mentions this as the destination for those who denied the day of judgment entirely. Not simply people who sinned or made mistakes, but people who lived their entire lives acting as though there would never be any accounting whatsoever for what they did. No consequences, no reckoning, just this life and nothing after it. According to Islamic teaching, this complete denial of accountability is treated as one of the more severe forms of disbelief. And finally, the seventh and most severe level of them all, Hawiyah, the abyss, the pit. This is the lowest, deepest, and most intense level of Jahannam, reserved in the Quran specifically for hypocrites, people who outwardly claim to have faith, who prayed alongside believers, who spoke all the right words, who may have even been trusted and respected by those around them, but who inwardly never believed a single word of it. The Quran describes this level in Surah Al-Qariyah as a bottomless pit of raging, blazing fire, with no floor, no end, nothing to stand on. Of all 7 levels, this one carries the harshest warning in the entire Quran, and it's worth sitting with why. It isn't reserved for the loudest disbelievers or the most obvious sinners. It's reserved for deception, including the quiet, private kind of self-deception where someone convinces even themselves that they believe, while their heart tells a completely different story. So that's all 7 levels. 7 names, 7 different groups, 7 different reasons for being there. But underneath all of it, every single level, according to the Quran, comes down to the same root cause, turning away from truth in one form or another, whether that's through open disbelief, injustice toward the vulnerable, greed with wealth that wasn't truly earned alone, or hidden hypocrisy that no one else could see. The unseen world isn't described in this much detail just to frighten people. It's described this precisely, with this much structure, as a reminder, a chance to look honestly at your own life right now, while there's still time to change direction. If this was eye-opening, the next unseen realm we're covering is Jannah, paradise, and everything waiting on the other side for those who take that reminder seriously. Subscribe so you don't miss it.